FSU School. Shooting incident. What we know. On Thursday, November 14th, at noon, a horrific shooting occurred at Florida State University, FSU campus in Tallahassee, killing 2 people and injuring several others. The suspect has been identified as Phoenix Ikner, a 20-year-old student at the university who is the biological son of a female deputy sheriff at the Leon County Sheriff's Office, who has served for nearly 20 years. According to witness statements, Phoenix Ikner arrived on campus in an orange SUV. When he got out of the vehicle, he was carrying a shotgun but was unable to use it. Ikner returned to his vehicle, retrieved a handgun, and began shooting near the Student Union Hall in the northern part of campus. The shooting occurred around noon, forcing thousands of students to shelter in place and lock down for several hours. When police arrived at the scene, they confronted Ikner, ordering him to drop his weapon. When the suspect did not comply, police opened fire. Ikner is currently being treated at a hospital and has refused to cooperate with investigators, invoking his right to remain silent. One of the deceased victims has been identified as Robert Morales, a 57-year-old food service employee at FSU. According to family information, Morales loved FSU, his wife, and daughter. He was also the son of a Cuban-American CIA agent. The other person killed in the incident was also not a student at the university. In addition to the 2 fatalities, 5 people who were injured are still being treated at the hospital, and another person was injured while fleeing the shooting scene. What is shocking about this case is that Phoenix Ikner was not unknown to the law enforcement community. He is the biological son of a Leon County deputy sheriff who has served for over 18 years. This stepmother was recognized as Employee of the Month last year. Notably, the handgun used in the shooting was her personal weapon, an old firearm she was allowed to keep after the department switched to a new type of gun. Phoenix Ikner was also a longtime member of the Leon County Sheriff's Office Youth Advisory Council, a group described as a bridge between law enforcement and youth in the community. Through investigation, authorities discovered that Phoenix Ikner was previously named Christian Gunnar Erickson. He changed his name to Phoenix Ikner in 2020 to take the surname of his biological father's family, Christopher Ikner, who married the Leon County deputy sheriff. Court records in Leon County showed that Phoenix Ikner had a complicated family background. His biological mother, Anne Marie Erickson, went through a difficult divorce and custody battle. In 2015, Ms. Erickson filed a lawsuit alleging that her son, then only 11 years old, was a victim of psychological and emotional abuse. This lawsuit was later dismissed. In 2016, Phoenix Ikner's biological mother was convicted of taking a minor out of state and failing to return the minor. Ms. Erickson served 30 days in jail and received 2 years of probation. On her Facebook page in 2023, Ms. Erickson posted, "Love being the mother of my son Christian Gunnar, Phoenix." Although Phoenix Ikner appeared to be a young man raised in a law-abiding environment, being the biological son of an award-winning deputy sheriff and an active member of the Community Youth Council, former classmates tell a different story. Phoenix Ikner's Instagram account, which was deleted shortly after his identity was revealed, included a quote from the Bible, Jeremiah 51:20, which reads, "You are my war club, my weapon for battle. With you, I shatter nations. With you, I destroy kingdoms." This is a biblical verse referring to consequences for those who go against God's will. Many classmates reported that Ikner often held far-right and racist views, frequently discussing conspiracy theories in class. One classmate shared with USA Today, "It's sad and shocking to see it was him, but I'm not terribly surprised." Ikner was also quoted in a FSU student newspaper article in January of this year, before President Donald Trump's inauguration. When asked about a protest against the incoming president, he said, "These people, anti-Trump protesters, tend to be quite entertaining, usually not for good reasons. I think it's a bit late. He's going to be inaugurated on January 20th, and there's not much you can do unless you completely revolt. And I don't think anyone wants that." Florida State University has canceled all classes for the week and home sporting events through the weekend. Several buildings, including the Student Union Hall, remain closed as they are part of the active crime scene investigation. Students at the school endured tense hours in lockdown hiding behind locked doors as police responded to the situation. SWAT teams were deployed to rescue students. Many parents experienced terrifying hours waiting for news from their children. Florida State University plans to hold a memorial service on Friday to remember those lost and acknowledge the impact of the shooting on the school community. Ed Wallace, a former NYPD crime scene investigator, emphasized the importance of thoroughly investigating the suspect, including checking online activities, social media presence, and mental health history. A critical question is how Phoenix Ikner gained access to his stepmother's weapon. Wallace points out that safely storing weapons is the responsibility of police officers. But if Ikner, an adult, illegally broke into or accessed the storage location, the stepmother might not bear legal responsibility. Crime scene investigators face a difficult task in gathering evidence from a large area, including finding all shell casings, bullet marks, and other evidence that may have been disturbed as people fled in panic. They also need to analyze surveillance footage, witness interviews, and other information sources to accurately reconstruct what happened. Although Phoenix Ikner has refused to cooperate with investigators, prosecutors can still build a case based on circumstantial evidence. This includes thorough analysis of mobile phones, messages, GPS locations, social media activity, online search history, and other electronic data to determine his motive. The FSU shooting raises questions about campus safety, gun control, and mental health. Wallace pointed out a common theme among university shooters: mental illness and psychiatric medication. The investigation into Phoenix Ikner's background, including prolonged custody disputes and complicated family environment, may provide more information about his mental state and what led to the violent action. As the FSU community tries to cope with this tragedy, there is a clear need for mental health support services and enhanced security measures to prevent such tragic events in the future. The shooting at Florida State University is a painful reminder of the threat gun violence continues to pose to school communities across the United States. The case of Phoenix Ikner, a student with connections to law enforcement but reportedly holding extreme views, emphasizes the complexity of this issue. As the investigation continues and the FSU community begins the healing process, many questions remain unanswered about motives, missed warning signs, and whether this tragedy could have been prevented. Nothing can bring back the lives lost, but lessons can be drawn from this incident to help prevent similar tragedies in the future. The FSU shooting has left a deeply wounded school community, but also demonstrates the resilience of students, faculty, and staff who united in a time of crisis. As FSU and Tallahassee continue to grieve and recover, the hearts of the entire country are with them in solidarity and support.